The topic of this video is based on the comments and questions I received from my last two videos. So let me start with one of the comments that intrigued me but also presented a bit of a historical puzzle. One viewer mentioned a fascinating video from several years ago. It featured a celebration and homage to their roots in Northwest Australia. This group with origins in Mindoro, an island in the Philippines, was celebrating their ancestral journey. The video highlighted how their ancestors traveled long ago, engaged in trade, and eventually settled in. Now, this is where I had to research and dig deeper. So, let me set the stage here. The viewer's comment likely points out the connection with the Macassan trepang trade, that is a type of sea cucumber. This significant maritime trading network operated between Indonesia, particularly Sulawesi, and northern Australia for centuries. Primarily focused on harvesting sea cucumbers for the lucrative Chinese market. These skilled seafarers from Sulawesi and Indonesia would undertake long voyages in large, sturdy boats called praus to the northern Australian coast. While trepang was the primary commodity, the Macassan trade likely involved other goods and cultural exchanges. These interactions between the Macassan traders and the indigenous Australian communities were complex and varied. They ranged from peaceful trade and cultural exchange to instances of conflict. So, we now have established the traders between Sulawesi and northern Australia. But where is the link between northern Australia and the coastal region of Mindoro? This has led me down a bit of a historical rabbit hole, trying to connect the dots and create a more complete picture. I've had to analyze trade routes, migration patterns, and historical records, which can be sparse for specific periods. You see, while there might be indirect connections through broader historical and cultural influences, there is no direct established connection between West Northern Australia and the coastal areas of Mindoro. The distance between the northern part of the Philippines, Mindoro, and northern Australia is vast and would have required a significant maritime journey across the open ocean. I also cannot find any archaeological or historical evidence to suggest any contact between the two regions during the pre-colonial era. But if I could trace that video and understand its historical context, I might as well have been looking at the evidence we've been looking for all along. But this challenge is precisely what makes history so fascinating, right? So, if this history occurred, then this is what I think might have happened. While direct contact between pre-colonial Mindoro and northern Australia remains highly improbable due to the vast distances involved, the presence of the Macassan trepang trade offers a potential avenue for indirect connections. Here's how. The Macassans were skilled seafarers who conducted extensive maritime trade across Southeast Asia. Let's start with the Macassan trade network. Their annual voyages to northern Australia for trepang established a crucial link between the Australian continent and the wider maritime trade networks of the region. There is also a potential for the exchange of goods. Mindoro, situated within the vibrant trading spheres of the Philippines, could have indirectly benefited from the Macassan trade. Objects like Australian shells, unique tools, or even Aboriginal cultural artifacts could have reached the Philippines through the Macassan trade network. These items might have been traded or exchanged at various points along the trade routes, eventually reaching Mindoro. Similarly, goods from the Philippines, including ceramics, textiles, and other valuable commodities, could have been transported by the Macassans on their voyages to and from Australia. Another thing that we have to consider here is that it's possible that some individuals from Mindoro or other parts of the Philippines could have accompanied Macassan on trading voyages to northern Australia. Here's how. Macassan vessels likely had crews composed of individuals from various parts of the Indonesian archipelago. Before the arrival of Europeans, Filipinos engaged in trade with neighboring islands and archipelagos, including Borneo, Sulawesi, and the Maluku Islands. It's conceivable that Filipinos drawn by the prospect of trade or adventure could have joined these crews as sailors, traders, or even laborers. The trepang fishing season in northern Australia was seasonal. Some individuals, perhaps facing hardship or seeking new opportunities, might have chosen to remain in Australia after the fishing season ended, leading to potential settlement. This is a hypothetical argument based on existing knowledge of the Macassan trade. It does not constitute definitive proof or any specific interaction between Mindoro and northern Australia. But like I said, maybe that will change if we could find that video. Of course, I'm also eager to hear from you. Do you have any personal stories, family histories, or knowledge about the Macassan trade, Mindoro, or Northern Australia? Perhaps you have encountered that video or other historical accounts, archaeological findings, or even local legends that might illuminate the historical connection. No matter how small, every piece of information can contribute to our understanding of this fascinating historical puzzle. Please share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. Another comment I received, which I believe refers to the Manila Men who settled in St. Malo, Louisiana, suggests a fascinating connection between the houses they built and the traditional homes of Filipino tribes in Sabah, Malaysia. The Manila Men, Filipino sailors who jumped ship from Spanish galleons in the 18th century, sought refuge and a new life in the marshlands of Louisiana. They constructed houses on stilts to adapt to this challenging environment, a building technique deeply rooted in their Filipino heritage, where elevated structures are common in coastal and swampy regions. I will discuss more about the Manila Men who settled in St. Malo, Louisiana in a bit. Now, this observation draws a compelling parallel to the traditional homes of many indigenous groups in Sabah, Malaysia. These communities also developed stilt houses as a practical and sustainable solution for facing similar environmental challenges. Often built with wood and bamboo, these homes reflect a deep understanding of the local environment and harmonious coexistence with nature. The shared architectural feature of stilt houses suggests a more profound connection rooted in shared Filipino cultural heritage. This shared tradition likely evolved as a practical response to similar environmental challenges, highlighting the ingenuity and adaptability of Filipino communities across diverse geographical landscapes. It's important to acknowledge the complex history of Sabah. The region has a long and intricate history with influences from various cultures, including indigenous groups, the Sultanate of Sulu, and the British. Originally under the influence of the Bruneian Empire, parts of Sabah were later ceded to the Sultanate of Sulu. This historical background contributes to the current territorial claim by the Philippines. Sabah subsequently came under British rule, becoming a British protectorate and later a crown colony. In 1963, Sabah joined Malaya, Sarawak, and Singapore to form the Federation of Malaysia, with Singapore separating 2 years later. This history, marked by diverse influences and political shifts, has significantly shaped Sabah's identity and place in Malaysia. The story of the Manila Men is a fascinating chapter in the history of Filipino-American relations. These Filipino sailors who jumped ship from Spanish galleons trading between Manila and Acapulco, Mexico during the 18th century sought refuge and a new life in the marshlands of Louisiana. Facing harsh conditions and seeking freedom, these courageous individuals escaped their ships and ventured into the Louisiana wilderness. They settled in a small community, St. Malo, in the present-day St. Bernard Parish. The Manila Men adapted remarkably to their environment. They primarily engaged in fishing and shrimping, leveraging their seafaring skills and knowledge of the maritime environment. They intermarried with local women, leading to a unique blend of cultures and creating a vibrant community. The Manila Men's presence left a lasting impact on the cultural landscape of Louisiana. Their influence can be seen in the local cuisine with the introduction of Filipino dishes and cooking techniques. Unfortunately, St. Malo was ultimately destroyed by a hurricane in 1915. However, the legacy of the Manila Men endures. They are considered among the first Filipino settlers in the United States, and their story contributes to a deeper understanding of Filipino-American history and cultural exchange. Scholars are diligently researching historical documents, local archives, and oral histories to learn more about the lives and experiences of the Manila Men. Efforts are underway to connect with descendants of the Manila Men and to raise awareness about their contributions to Louisiana's history. I've only touched upon the surface of the fascinating story of the Manila Men today. Their history is a testament to the resilience, adaptability, and pioneering spirits of the Filipino people. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this glimpse into the history of the Manila Men as intriguing as I do. If you have any questions, comments, or further research to share, please leave them down below. And if you know someone who might be interested in learning more about this unique chapter in history, please share this video with them. I'll be exploring other fascinating historical topics in future videos. So stay tuned. Until next time, stay curious.